Hi there, everyone. So today we're going to be talking about creating and solving equations. So we should all be looking on page 16. Alrighty, so I want to start to fill in words that can be used to describe each of the following math symbols. So you guys may want to think of these on your own as well, but we are going to be doing these together. So for addition, you should be looking for keywords like increased by, okay, more than. You should be looking for the words like sum, add. We have greater than, okay? And if you come up with any other examples, feel free to let me know, okay? We can always add to this list. For subtraction, we always have minus. Okay, of course, you'll see the word subtract. We have less than, which, careful with less than, it reverses the order. I'm going to write that. Reverses order. We're going to see subtracted from, which, remember, from comes first. And another one that you could see is also the word, I'm going to throw it up here, difference. Okay, and again, if you think of any others, let me know. We also have multiplication, so we're going to look out for words like times or product. Okay, product, a really big one. For division, we usually have quotient. Equals, you might see something like is, or results in, or results to, okay, either or. And then words that might pertain to using parentheses would be like and, seeing the word and. Okay, so again, these are just some examples. If you come up with any others, let me know. All right, so at the bottom now of page 16, we're going to come up with writing the equations for the given descriptions. So I'm going to do the first one with you guys. Okay, so we have a number is increased by 10 is 114. So we have a number, well, I don't know what that number is, so let's call it x. Increased by, remember we said increased by is addition, so let's write a plus, by 10 is, remember we said is equals. So really, if I were to just write this out, we have a number x, increased by is plus, 10, that's just the number here, is the number here, 114. So that's your equation. I'm just saying write the equation. Okay, let's take a look at 3 together. I have 10 times, so 10 times is multiplication. The sum, so we're taking the sum of half a number and 6. We're taking the sum of half a number and 6. Okay, well, we know sum is addition, so let's write that. Sum is addition. Okay, I'm taking half a number. Let's call the number x. We don't know what it is. So we're taking half a number. Well, that's 1/2 x. And remember, that tells us that we should be using parentheses somewhere. So let's read it back one more time. 10 times the sum of half a number and 6. So we have 10 times the sum of half a number and 6. So I have parentheses. We have 10 times the sum of 1/2 a number. So I said let's call it x. And it's summing. We're adding them. So we are multiplying 10 times 1/2 x. We're taking the sum of the half of that number and 6. So we're summing it with 6. Is, that word is equals 8. That's what my equation would look like if I wrote it out. Okay, so I would just say let x equal a number. And then the same thing over here. We need let statements. Let x equal a number. Okay, let's also do 2 and 4 together. I know word problems tend to be a little bit more tricky, but again, we just got to break down the words. So for question 2, we have the difference, remember difference means subtraction, between a number and 12 is 20. So I don't know what the number is. So let x equal the number. So we'll call that number x. And again, we have the difference between a number and 12. Okay, so the difference between a number and a 12 is 20. So I know I have equals 20. It is 20. And we're taking the difference between this number, x, and 12. So I have x minus 12. And that's it. Yes, we do have and, so you could put parentheses here, but in this case, it actually doesn't make a difference. So you don't need to put it there, but it's very important to pay attention to it, because if we didn't put the parentheses here, our answer would have been wrong. Alrighty, let's take a look at 4. I have the length of a rectangle is twice its width. The length, so let's let length equal L. Let length equal L. So I have the length of a rectangle is twice, so that's 2 times, twice the width. And we're going to let W equal width. All right, so I'll say that one more time. The length, L, of a rectangle is twice its width. Pay attention to how I highlighted that in that order. We have the perimeter of a rectangle is 126 feet. Well, let's draw a rectangle. Here's my length, here's my width. Doesn't matter where I put them. Okay, well, if this is my length, we know length equals 2W, and this just stays W. So perimeter, you guys need to know. Perimeter means you add up all the sides. Are there just 2 sides here? No, there are 4. Right? In a rectangle, those opposite sides are parallel. So if this is 2W, this is 2W. And if this is W, this is W. So the perimeter is 126 feet. So I'm going to add it up to 126. So I have 2W plus W plus 2W plus W. That all came from here. Okay, we can add those, like we can simplify that. 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. 5 plus another 1 is 6. So I have 6W equals 126. That's what my equation would look like. Okay, so now we should all be on page 17. And I want to look at question 5 with you. So let's read it out loud. We have a rectangular garden. So it's a rectangular garden. So if the word says rectangular, I'm going to draw myself a rectangle. I know, super shocking. That's also a terrible rectangle, so please draw one better than me. Okay, there's my rectangle. It's fenced on all sides with 256 feet of fencing. So we've got fencing here, we have fencing here, the fencing is here, and the fencing is here. That's the entire perimeter. So the perimeter is 256 feet. The garden is 8 feet longer. So I'm just going to rewrite this again. I just don't want it to look too busy, but you understand that there's fencing around the whole thing. Okay. The garden is 8 feet longer than it is wide. So the garden is 8 feet longer than it is wide. So if we talk about, we're going to say let L equal the length, and we're going to let W equal the width. Okay. So the garden's length, sorry, I apologize. This should say length. That's my fault. The garden's length is 8 feet longer than it is wide. So if I'm talking about this garden here, right? And again, we just said, let this be the length, this be the width. It doesn't matter. You could have switched them out. The length is 8 feet longer than the width. The length is 8 feet longer than the width. So there's my one equation. The length is 8 feet more than the width, right? We want to find the length and find the width of the garden. Well, if this up here is 8 plus W, then this here is 8 plus W. And if this is W here, well, then this is W here, because again, it's a rectangle. To find perimeter, we add up all the sides. So you should write that down. perimeter, add up all the sides. Okay, and in this case, it's 4 sides because it's a rectangle. So let's do it. We have 8 plus W plus W plus 8 plus W plus W, and the whole thing equals 256. All right. We have 8 plus 8, so let's highlight. We have 8 plus 8, that's 16, plus I have 1, 2, 3, 4 W's, plus 4W equals that 256. Okay, I'm going to erase a little bit what I have here, so just so I can solve this. So let's erase what's up here. So I have 16 plus 4W equals 256. So I'm going to write that. I have 16 plus 4W equals 256. We want to solve for W, right? Because the final question says find the length and the width. So once we find the width, we can plug in and get the length. So I'm going to subtract 16 on both sides using the subtraction property of equality. I now have 4W equals 240. And we're going to divide both sides by 4 using the division property of equality. And we get W equals 60. So that's just W. It says find the length and the width. So we got to go back and read. Find the length and the width. Okay. Well, the width is 60. So we know the width is equal to 60. And our formula, our equation for length is here. Length equals 8 plus W. And we know W is 60. So let's just write L is 8 plus 60, which is 68. So we have the length is 68 feet and the width is 60 feet. Those are our dimensions. Okay, I'm just going to skip question 6 for now. We'll see if we have time for it, but I want to move on to page 18, number 7. Okay, so we have Ian and his cousin Kai like to collect stamps. Sure, awesome, okay. We have Ian has 56 stamps and Kai has 80 stamps. Okay, so let's do Ian in pink and Kai in blue. The boys recently joined different stamp collecting clubs. Interesting. All right. Well, we have Ian's club will send him 12 new stamps per month, while Kai's club sends him 8 new stamps per month. We want to know, after how many months will Ian and Kai have the same number of stamps? And after those number of months, how many will they each have? Okay, so I want to organize this information. We have Kai and we have Ian. So Ian has 56 stamps already. Like right now, he has 56 stamps. And Kai, as of right now, has 80 stamps. Okay. The boys recently joined those different stamp collecting clubs. Ian's club is going to send him 12 new stamps per month. So if we're in January, he gets 12, February 12, March 12. Okay, he's just going to keep getting 12 every month. How do we represent that using a variable? He's going to keep getting 12 every month. So 12 one month, 12 another month, 12 the next month. It just keeps happening like that. We can write that as 12x, where x, we're going to let x equal number of months, right? We need a let statement here. Let x equal the number of months. So each month, whether it's 5 months, 4 months, etc., we'll know how many stamps he has total. Similarly now, for Kai, he's going to get 8 new stamps per month. So we're going to have plus 8x. Right? He starts off with this 80, and then he's going to gain additionally 8 per month. Okay, so same thing over here with Ian. We're just adding them. We want to know after how many months will they have the same. You see this word here, same? That means set them equal. When you see the word same, set the equations equal. So I have 56 plus 12x equals 80 plus 8x. The reason why I set them equal is because of this keyword same. Set them equal. You'll see it on the next problem. When will they be the same? Set them equal. Okay. So let's solve this. Let's solve for x. Draw my line down the middle. I'm going to get x alone. So let's do that first. I'm going to use the subtraction property of equality and subtract 8x on both sides. I'll have 56 plus 4x equals 80. Again, there's a positive sign in front of this 56, guys. To undo addition, we use subtraction. So I'm using the subtraction property of equality, and I have 4x equals 24. We're almost there. 4x equals 24. The operation between the 4 and the x is multiplication. To undo multiplication, we're going to use the division property of equality, and I'm left with x equals 6. So it's after 6 months. Now, that only answers one part of the problem. It says after how many months will they be the same? After 6 months. The question says how many will they have? Okay. So we know it's after 6 months, but how many will they have after 6 months? Well, guys, we set these equations equal. Pick one that you want to plug x back into. It doesn't matter. Whether I do 56 plus 12 times 6, or if I plug back into here, where we have 80 plus 8 times 6. You're going to get the same answer, and if you don't believe me, put it in the calculator. When I put both of these in the calculator, I end up getting 128. So to finally write this up, we're going to say after 6 months, Kai and Ian will have 128 stamps. That fully answers the question. All right, now that I just did 7, question 8 is very similar. I want you to do question 8 on your own. All right, so question 8 you should do on your own. Don't forget you need a let statement. You need a let statement, and make sure you answer both questions. Just to give you what the final answer is, you should get x to equal 15. And your formal written up response should say something like this. After 15 months, the total amount paid will be the same. The amount will be $875. That is your formal write-up. So once you guys solve this, you should end up solving for x to be 15. Plug it back into one of your equations, and this is your final answer written up. You need an explanation. So after the 15 months, the total amount paid will be the same, and that amount will be $875. Okay, I'm not making question 6 required, but for those of you guys that like the extra practice, you should end up solving for x to equal 5. Again, I don't have the time for it in this video right now, but you should solve for x to equal 5, and you can conclude that how much fencing did she buy? She ended up buying 28 feet of fencing. Okay, so you can do that on your own if you choose to, but it's not required.